Welcome back. We now want to wrap up this edition of Cheche, the show where opinion counts. We're still discussing the impact of the independent candidates, the independent factor in these elections, and going forward in as far as the face of Kenyan politics is concerned. We're still in studio with Kabando MP Mukurweini and Nicholas Gumbo MP Rarieda, who are independent candidates going into these particular elections. Now, as we wrap up, Bona Muteginjao, you had a question.
I was asking, you know, Kabando here said he's in very good rapport. He's the president, he's in the campaign team. In my situation, if the leader of NASA or DM comes to your area and he is there with the governor and they are fundraising political rallies in various places in your county, do you see yourself having being received well by the voters or by the leaders?
If you go
the organizers.
Yes. Well, I expect that to happen because I have more people than the governor.
But it's a situation where even people fight for microphones.
That is what you are saying. You have more people, but you lost.
Sorry? No.
Well, officially you did. That's why independent.
That's what was. That was what I gave you.
Yeah, you did.
I gave you the deficiencies of the system. In fact, that so-called returning officer ought to be jailed because he broke the law. So really, there was those are not even results you can call official results.
But if the leader of ODM,
but like I said, I expect
he would have.
I expect to be in attendance because I know what is happening on the ground.
Why did he not change?
Incidentally, the leader of ODM comes from my county, by the way. Yes. So he knows, he has to know what is happening on the ground. I expect to be in attendance because I am vigorously campaigning.
So that is what you expect?
Yes, I'm vigorously campaigning for him. And like I told you, the political environment has changed.
What if he came in the initial stages of the campaigns and campaigned for your opponent, Governor Asanga, and left without including you on the podium or the program? Would you still continue campaigning for him?
Let me help you here. In the unlikely scenario that a presidential candidate goes to a county, and in this case we are talking about mainstream, if Raila Odinga or President Uhuru goes to a certain area and decides to, for instance, endorse that candidate. And I'll give the example of Ebu, for instance. A very senior senator who is a founder member of Jubilee is on Chap. The runners-up of TNA, present original party that took him to State House.
We're talking about Kivuti.
Elene Kivuti is on Chap. Yeah. The runners-up to the cabinet governor was on BAS, Kreto's party, which Kreto is the chair of the founding of the BAS. Then you have the cabinet governor, who is TNA, the president's original party. Yes. That's Governor Ambora. And you still have another person who was a senior official in the government, Engineer Saidas.
Are you saying, for example, Kenyatta will find it hard to
if it goes to him, for instance, you have 4 strong gubernatorial candidates, and he needs all of them. Remember, Chap has endorsed him, and Lenny is an incumbent senator. All right. Then you have a cabinet governor who is a Jubilee governor, TNA. What do? The advice would be, because it can happen even in Mukurweini, you can be polite, allow the party leader to do his bit. He will not be there for the full day. He can only, particularly in the backyard, he can only be there for maybe an hour, and then, or even 30 minutes. An hour is too much. 30 minutes, allow him to do the politics are very local. Politics are extremely local. Once he vacates, I remember in 2007 when Kibaki came to Mukurweini, I was denied a seat in the main dais. I sat at the corner in a grass, and
with the coffee
the police were pushing me away. The provincial administration was pushing me away.
And that could happen this time round.
It can happen. And I just decided to sit in the sun at the edge of the small tent meant for the singers, not even the local leaders like councillors. And once he was gone, I was left with the people. The people have eyes; they can see, and they make a decision.
So basically, what Kabando is saying, and what Engineer Bumbo is saying is, it's up to the presidential candidate
to decide
to make sure that these people are given a chance. But my question, Fred, which we alluded to at the beginning of this show, gentlemen, you are sure of getting back your seat as an independent candidate. You are sure of being a governor as an independent candidate. Does this therefore mean the party ticket no longer holds any water in Central Jubilee, in Nyanza ODM. Does it mean the party ticket will hold anyone?
I think I'll be very generous and kind that the party ticket is important. I'll be better off with a Jubilee party ticket. All right? He'll be better off with an ODM party ticket. We cannot tarnish or besmirch the importance of the party ticket. The party ticket gives you a mileage. When you go to the ballot, you start with a natural vote head start. For instance, you go to a county, you may start with 20,000 votes out of 300,000 votes that are actually the party. It means if you are on a fringe party or you are an independent, you have to work extra. You have to put more effort. And again, the party will bring its infrastructure. However,
the money
that is the extent to which. That's why it ends.
There's no money involved.
That's why it ends. But when it comes to the actual vote, the voter, I want to be generous with the voter on the ground. Come to the county of Nyeri is the best example. The governor was elected 2013 was from a small party called GNU. The senator who was elected was a small party called NARC.
But gentlemen, we've seen areas where this 6-piece voting or calls for 6-piece voting have really worked.
No, listen.
They have not worked in Nyeri.
Listen, Fred.
It can't work.
Listen, Fred. I told you. The digital revolution has changed
completely,
more than we can imagine.
Absolutely.
You know, you can the other day I was in Cheche town, the seat of power in Cheche, and I gave a challenge to Governor Asanga, and I told him, if indeed you won, why haven't you even come out on the streets of Cheche town and thank these people? Because to get 140,000 votes, if it was true, it's no mean achievement, Mutegi, in a nomination. Why haven't you even gone on a radio station to tell the people of Cheche, thank you very much? How come?
You'll do it.
No, please. No. Mutegi, this is 5 weeks later. How come the man who supposedly lost is the one who is going to all the 6 constituencies and being received, and the people are saying, no. Because everybody knows that what is being said and the reality is different. Everybody knows. And I can tell you this election... But
you do admit as well that party leader for ODM does not have to campaign for you.
Listen.
I can't.
For me, I can tell you the difference will be this. I've run on ODM twice as Member of Parliament. Incidentally, the only person living to have ever been successfully re-elected in Rarieda. You don't even Rafael Tuju.
Rarieda has the history of Unanawa
Maramoja. And I can tell you, if I had the ODM ticket, right now I would probably be sitting in Nairobi until mid-July, then I go home.
Because it's as good as...
So there's something that is happening.
Yes, so, but now, there was a time I was watching a football match somewhere. I read, I do a lot of reading, and I read in a book somewhere, I don't know whether it's true, that if people are playing football in a field, the advantage is not with the people wearing the most fashionable boots. The advantage is with the barefoot footballer. Why? Because number one, there is the human instinct not to hurt him, and number two is more careful. I think we are now the barefoot footballers, and we have the advantage with kid gloves. And
also, let's wrap up this conversation now, and let's look at the nitty-gritties of the ballot. We're probably looking at the possibility of a very crowded ballot paper. One. Secondly, very crowded polling station, simply because of the independent candidates. Because for the presidency, of course, there are 9 candidates who are going for that position through parties, but there are at least 10 who are going in as independent candidates. We're looking at a ballot paper that has 18 names for the presidency, each one of them with a returning, with a polling, two agents, one polling station. Doesn't this therefore present a problem on Kabando, even logistically?
The ballot paper will be
looking for you and your symbol as an independent candidate from among many candidates on one
and
page.
And considering the literacy levels in the country.
But no. Let me tell you, the voter in Kenya is very literate. In fact, it's we who are here think that whatever.
The fact that the symbol of Jubilee, the symbol of Jubilee, which is a well-known symbol because of gone around, will stand out on the ballot paper as opposed to a symbol of a candidate.
I can tell you, if the average voter is like in Mukurweini, because sometimes you think that people who are very urban, the voter in the village is more knowledgeable than the voter in the urban areas.
For sure.
Where I live in Nairobi, 90%, if not more, of the residents in my gated community don't know their member of parliament.
Yes.
They don't know their member of county assembly. Number two,
Mheshimiwa Kabando, sorry, but that has got more to do with interest than literacy. I base my argument on the fact that in the last elections, the number of spoiled votes was much more than the number of votes that were garnered by the other candidates.
Let me put it.
If I were to finish and tell you, apart from that identity, even in terms of their areas of electoral jurisdiction, people don't know. When we go to a residence meeting, many people don't know which one they fall to. If you go to Turkana, if you go to Kilifi, the very remote part of this country, or Marsabit, you realize that the locals very well know the contestants by name, by clan, by gender, by age,
their nicknames.
By their nicknames.
Not necessarily by their symbol.
So the ballot paper, let me say, the ballot paper will be crowded, but the choice would be obvious as you.
Let me tell you, Fred. I think if the IEBC does not prepare for that, then they would be failing to benefit from experience. In the last election, I think in Nyaribari Masaba, not Nyaribari, Kitutu Masaba, there were 33 candidates. I think it was last election, so it was 2007. Already that is something that has happened even without independent candidates. So really, if they don't prepare for it, but like the Honorable Kabando says, people tend to think that the voter in the village is not intelligent. Even the old mama in the village, they have their way of identifying and insisting. And don't forget, on this ballot paper there will be pictures and photos, color photos of the candidates. They have their way. I saw another mama who, when I was just walking in, I was behind her, and she didn't know when during these ODM primaries, and she was describing me by my nickname. So it's like she knows the particular person she wants,
and she can pick you out from
candidates
on a ballot
because
paper.
Even one of the arguments we had wanted the names to appear in the ballot papers alphabetically, and Gumbo would come before Asanga. But they said the names appear the way people pay. So Gumbo was number 2 to Rasanga, but he's still victim.
So it means that this election, the morning, is actually an orchestra. We know who is going to play which instrument. And when we go to the wire, in these particularly dominant backyards of Jubilee and NASA, people know clearly we want these candidates for the presidency. But when you go to all these other seats,
everything will change.
My choice is very clear.
Okay.
Please, gentlemen, you have to give us closing remarks, please.
82 days to the elections. I do not know if we do have time for that, Bona Director.
Please,
yes, we could do 30 seconds each, I'm told. But my panelists have to get a chance as well. Let's start with you, final submission, so that they could respond to that. Bona Muteginjao, anything?
I think these elections are going to be very tough for the Electoral Commission. They should understand from some research done by some institutions that now they're not ready. I think the best way is for them to prepare themselves for that book, which will be given to the voter.
Because it's going to be a booklet.
And also buy the equipment and test it before, because you don't want any problem because of the inefficiency or shortcomings.
Thank you, Mutegi.
One good thing about the scenario we have now is that for once the common voter will have a chance to elect a candidate of their choice. And I think that's a very good thing for a democracy. Socrates was against it, Plato was against democracy. We are seeing the effects, but the good thing is the common Mwananchi finally has a chance to elect a candidate of their choice in a party or as an independent. But I'm seeing a situation where we are going to have a bit of challenges, especially at the county level, for the acceptance of a governor from a different dispensation vis-a-vis members of parliament who are a majority from a different dispensation.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Bonakabando.
As I head to the Inoro TV to speak in my vernacular right away, I'd like to say that it is very encouraging that competition has emerged as a very important component of our democracy. And when you talk about new dispensation, new constitution under new political system, we should be happy that the leadership is attracting very many people, and particularly at the grassroots, where you are having hundreds of MCAs of MCAs aspirants, and tens of them going for a single seat is good, because it is telling Kenyans that these seats are very, very important, and we are happy where we stand. We don't regret going independent. Whatever happens is behind us, and I'm saying, like in my case, Mukroine, here I come, Kabando, available.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would think what is happening in our country is good for democracy. It needs to be nurtured. It doesn't need to be criticized. Opening up the political space is something that we have fought for a long time. No one should be against it. I want to be called here, say in 2021, so that we do, just a performance review of how governors are performing. I want to assure you, those of us who will be lucky to be elected independent governors will emerge as some of the best performers, because at the back of their minds there will be the barefoot footballer who knows that their mandate is directly with the people. And lastly, there's something I always tell people, and I think it's important, because we are national leaders, we have to say it. Any election produces more losers than winners. As we speak today, there are 17,000 candidates contesting for just over 2,000 seats. So you're going to have about 15,000 losers. No. It is important that as we go through the electioneering process, our utterances, our actions are such that it allows for people to embrace one another after the election. I'm an engineer, and I remember when I used to go to funerals and I see 10 MC aspirants hurling insults at each other, and I tell them, do you know what? If you're 10 MCAs 10 candidates looking for one MCA seat, you're looking at 9 losers, because only one of you is going to make it. So we have to leave room for re-engaging as a nation. We have to leave room for either carrying the message of peace and the message of oneness for Kenya forward, without necessarily getting into those actions and utterances which are likely to tear our country apart.
Thank you so much, Bwana Nicholas Gumbo, MP for Arieda, also a candidate for the governor's seat, Siaya County, Bwana Kabando, MP Mukuruene, both seeking to go to the ballot as independent candidates. I also need to thank my panelists, my regular panelists, Mutegi Njao and Charles Obiambo. My name is Fred Ndimuli. That has been Cheche. 82 days to the next elections. Let's do this again next Wednesday.